A stormy week in London turns into a nightmare when a 27-year-old woman starts noticing a pattern behind a string of brutal attacks. The only person close enough to help is a 29-year-old man with secrets he refuses to explain. As they dig deeper into strange clues tied to the underground tunnels and the full moon, they meet a nervous transit worker and a clinic employee who warns them they are chasing something real and hungry. With the night closing in, the woman must decide who to trust before the next hunt begins. Chapter 1. The attacks don't make sense. London never truly sleeps, but it does go quiet in a special way after midnight. The buses still hiss past and the streetlights still glow, yet the city feels like it is holding its breath. That week, the news kept repeating the same words: savage, unexplained, animal-like. 3 people attacked near parks, 1 near the river. No clear suspect, no clear weapon, just torn clothing and deep wounds. I'm 27 and I work late shifts, so I learn the map of London by its shadows. I also learned how to listen. Sirens in the distance, footsteps behind me, that small change in the air when someone is too close. He was 29, and he walked me home more than once. I trusted him because he looked like someone who could be tired, normal, safe. That night in Soho, rain slicked the pavement and made the neon signs smear into bright color. He showed me a newspaper headline about the attacks, like he wanted me to be careful. Then I saw the scratch on his hand. "It's nothing," he said fast, closing his fingers like a fist could hide pain. I end the alley behind the restaurant. I noticed something that made my stomach turn. Paw prints in a line. Large, heavy. Then, halfway through the puddles, they became human footprints. Bare feet, long toes, the kind you'd see in a nightmare. That he stopped walking. His breathing changed. Above the rooftops, the moon looked too bright for a city that famous for clouds. Chapter 2. The clinic file. The next night, I pushed him to get the scratch looked at. He argued, but his face had that tight, sick look people get when they are losing control, and trying not to show it, we ended up in a small clinic that stayed open late for tourists and night workers. The hallway smelled like disinfectant and weak coffee. A woman in scrubs met us at the counter. Her eyes were sharp in a way that made me feel like she could read the truth off my skin. She looked at his hand, then at his face, then at the moonlit window behind him. Her expression shifted. Just for a second. "Has he had fevers?" she asked me. "Not him," he answered before I could. "No, I'm fine." But he wasn't. His skin looked too pale, and his jaw kept tightening like he was biting backwards. Or something else. The nurse stepped away to get forms. I watched him stare at the floor, as if it was moving, that I shouldn't have done it. I know that. But when the nurse returned and left a folder on the counter, the top page slid out just enough for me to see a heading. Lycanthropic episodes. That I froze. My mind tried to explain it away. A joke, a code, a strange medical term I misunderstood. But the words sat there, clear as day. When I reached for the paper, he grabbed my wrist. "Don't," he whispered. His voice shook like it hurt to speak. The nurse came back, saw our faces, and stopped in the doorway like she had walked into the wrong story. Chapter 3. The underground door. We didn't go back to my place. We didn't go to his. We went where the attacks seemed to point, toward the old lines, the service routes, the parts of London tourists never see. That a transit worker met us near a closed entrance. He was older, heavy-set, and he smelled like oil and metal. He kept glancing up at the sky, at the moon, like it was a clock counting down. He unlocked a gate and led us into a service corridor. The air changed immediately, damp, cold, and thick with old dust. The lights buzzed overhead, flickering like they were tired. He showed us the wall. Claw marks, not old ones. Fresh gouges through paint and tile, deep enough to fit fingers that weren't fingers. I stared at them, trying to measure what could do that. My mouth went dry. The worker muttered, "This didn't happen from a stray dog." Far down the tunnel, something moved. Not fast, not like a rat. A slow shift, like a body adjusting in the dark. I saw eyes for a moment. 2 small points that caught the weak light. The transit worker raised his lantern. "Hello," he called, voice cracking. The sound that answered wasn't growl. It was worse. It was like breath pushed through a throat that wasn't built for speech. Beside me, the 29-year-old man took a step forward. As if pulled by a rope I couldn't see, that a train rushed past on the nearest line without stopping. The wind slammed into us, and the lights cut out for half a second. In that half second, I felt the tunnel open like a mouth. Chapter 4. The Rooftop Under the Full Moon. We got out of the underground fast, gasping like we had been underwater. The transit worker insisted the tunnels weren't safe, not tonight. He kept saying the same thing. It's the full moon. It's always worse. Worse than what? I didn't ask because I was starting to believe I already knew that we climbed stairs to street level and kept moving until we reached a rooftop access door he claimed led to a maintenance roof. Up there, London spread out in every direction, glittering and cold. The moon hung above the city like a bright eye. The man stood near the edge, hands shaking. His breathing became loud, uneven. His posture tightened as if his bones didn't fit right that I pulled a small silver locket from my pocket. Something I wore for luck, a cheap thing from a street market. I don't know why I grabbed it, only that I needed something solid in my hand. His voice came out rough. "You should go." "I'm not leaving you," I said, and I meant it. Even then, his eyes caught the moonlight and looked wrong. Too bright, too focused. The nurse from the clinic burst onto the roof, holding a flashlight and a syringe, like she had been running for miles. She looked at him and then at me, her face tight with fear. "You don't understand what he is fighting," she said to bend forward, and I heard a sound like fabric tearing. Not his coat, something under it, something that wasn't supposed to be there. Then he ran, not away from us, toward the far side of the roof, moving too fast, too low, like his body was already deciding what shape it wanted it. I chased him, my shoes slipping on wet gravel. The skyline spun around me. A scream rose in my throat, but I swallowed it because I needed my breath. At the edge, he turned back. His shadow stretched across the rooftop, and for a second, it didn't look human at all. Chapter 5. The Door That Won't Hold. We ended up back below ground, not because we wanted to, but because the city forced us there. London is full of locked gates and one-way paths. Panic makes you take the first open door, even if it leads into darkness. The transit worker guided us into a maintenance room filled with pipes. Steam hissed from joints in the metal like the place was breathing. He slammed a heavy door shut behind us and locked it, hands shaking so hard the key rattled that on the other side we heard him, not speaking, not knocking, hitting the door with force that made the hinges scream. I stood with my back to a wall, gripping a metal bar I found near the floor. My locket pressed cold into my palm. The nurse paced, eyes darting, whispering about timing and moonlight and how some people carry a curse without knowing where it began. The transit worker kept staring at the door, murmuring, "It's learning. It always learns." Then the metal bent inward as if something huge leaned on it. A sharp point punched through, then another. Claws. Real claws. Tearing through steel. I stepped back, heart hammering so hard I thought it might crack my ribs. I wanted to call his name, to beg him to fight it, to remember who he was. But the sound coming from behind the door didn't feel like a man who remembered anything at all. The lock snapped. The door began to open. Chapter 6. Morning doesn't feel safe. I don't know how long it took for the night to break. Time stopped working the way it should. In the underground, you can't see the sky, so you forget what hour it is until the air changes. When I finally stepped outside, dawn had turned the fog a pale gray. The streets looked clean from a distance, like the city was innocent again. But my hands wouldn't stop shaking. The transit worker stood beside me, exhausted, staring at the closed tube entrance like it could open and swallow him whole. The nurse was gone from my side, moving somewhere I couldn't follow. A newspaper lay on a bench, damp from the morning air. The headline hit me like a punch. Another attack, then my stomach dropped. My eyes scanned the small print, searching for details that would tell me what I didn't want to know. When I looked down, I saw something on my wrist that I couldn't explain away. Fresh marks. Thin, sharp lines like nails dragged lightly across skin that I turned toward the underground gate. And the world felt suddenly quiet again. Too quiet. Behind the closed sign, deep in the darkness, something seemed to watch. And as I walked away, my shadow stretched long across the pavement, pulled by the last touch of moonlight. For a moment, it looked like it had ears that weren't mine. If you enjoyed this werewolf horror story set in London, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Turn on notifications so you don't miss the next story. Hit the like button. Leave a comment with your favorite chapter, and share this video with someone who loves scary stories.